Амбасадорке Барнс, добро вечер. Добре дојдовте во студиото на 360 степени. Благодарам за ова интервју. И веднаш на почетокот моето прво прашање, кога очекувате да биде официјализирано членството на Северна Македонија во НАТО? Процедурата е при крај, но се уште не е завршена.
Well, thank you for having me on the program. I expect the process to be completed very soon, and within a matter of weeks, as the NATO Secretary General said, North Macedonia will be a member of NATO, and that's a big deal. It recognizes the significant progress this country has made, and it's something worth celebrating. I know that we are looking forward to celebrating it in a historic way in Washington, as well as here in Skopje and Brussels and elsewhere.
Има тези, амбасадорке, дека сето ова е свесно темпирано и направено да се случи среде изборна кампања, за да ја помогне на актуелната влада.
The Allies were very clear on this issue in Bucharest in 2008. The summit declaration said specifically that an invitation to the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia will be extended as soon as a mutually agreed solution has been reached. An agreement was signed in June 2018. It was then ratified by two governments, and in February 2019, NATO extended an invitation. That began separate ratification processes by each NATO ally in keeping with their Bucharest commitments, and that process is almost complete. There's only one ally that has yet to complete its process, and they are very, very close. So this is something that the citizens of North Macedonia have long aspired to, that NATO committed to, and are on the verge of finally achieving it, which is something this country deserves.
Уште една важна одлука за земјата се очекува можеби среде изборна кампања. Тоа е одлука на земјите членки на ЕУ да отворат пристапни преговори со Северна Македонија. Вие, вашата држава, вашите политички представници и дипломати беа прилично гласни откако во октомври земјите членки не успеа да постигнат консензус за отворање преговори. Зборувавте за голема, за историска грешка направена од страна на Европската унија. Од тогаш натаму зборувате за тоа дека работите активно со скептичните земји членки на ЕУ за да се надбине проблемот. Што е вашата проценка? Сега новиот таргет период е крајот на месецот, од 24 до 27 март. Дали Советот на Европската унија ќе донесе одлука за почеток на преговори со Северна Македонија?
Indeed, it is our hope and our expectation that the European Council will rectify the mistake that it made and seize the opportunity of this month's meeting to open accession talks with North Macedonia. It's been our position, long-time policy, and one that we've implemented with our European partners to support the aspirations of the people of this region for integration into Euro-Atlantic institutions, and that's specifically with respect to the citizens of North Macedonia. So there is a real opportunity with the meeting this month in March for the EU to send a clear yes and to give a green light to North Macedonia and to begin to open accession talks, which would be a great thing for this country as well.
Би сакал да ви поставам неколку прашања за договорот од Преспа. Прво, има изјави дека членството во НАТО е еднаш за секогаш завршена работа и дека тука не се можни никакви промени и дека дури и да дојде политичка структура на власт која што нема да го признава и спроведува договорот од Преспа, ништо не може да се смени во поглед на членството и статусот на Северна Македонија во НАТО. Дали е ова точно?
I think it would be a mistake to say that there would be no negative consequences if this country were to fail to respect or to continue to implement the Prespa agreement. It's an important condition for NATO. In fact, it's what the NATO decision and invitation was predicated upon. But moreover, it's something that the EU has noted is important for North Macedonia's path to EU membership, and implementation of the Prespa agreement going forward, including after April 12th, is absolutely critical for the future of this country, and I don't think there should be any mistakes about that.
Во вашето последно интервју за телевизија Сител, прашани за односот на главната опозицијска партија ВМРО-ДПМНЕ кон договорот од Преспа, порачавте дека најавите за ревизија на договорот предизвикуваат вистинска загриженост и дека граѓаните не треба да бидат збунети или заведени за тоа колкав е влогот во тој процес. На ова лидерот на ВМРО-ДПМНЕ коментираше дека практично вашата изјава не се толкува најсоодветно од одредени кругови во земјава и оти всушност вие сте порачале дека договорот од Преспа не треба да биде главна тема во кампањата, Затоа што државата има реални проблеми како што се корупцијата, миграцијата, отсуството на странски инвестиции. Може ли да ја појасните таа ваша изјава и што точно сакавте да кажете во тоа ваше интервју за СИТЕЛ?
So I think I actually was very clear in my message, and that was about the real risks that talking about changing or scrapping PRESPA could have on this country and have for this country. It's very clear, once again, that not only was it an important part of the NATO process and NATO decision, but it is something that the EU itself has said is important for North Macedonia's NATO membership. Certainly, any attempts to try to walk back PRESPA would not only be difficult if unsuccessful, but they would raise concerns among NATO partners. They could potentially cause frictions within NATO. And most importantly, they would go against the progress that has been made towards EU membership. This is something that EU leaders have said. This agreement, PRESPA agreement, but also the other agreements that North Macedonia has made with respect to its neighbors are an important part of its commitment to moving forward on that EU path.
Значаен дел од граѓаните на оваа земја се разочарани од начинот на кој што се дели правдата и од начинот на кој што функционира владењето на правото и борбата против криминалот и корупцијата. На тој план има разочарување од перформансот на власта, пред судско-обвинителската, но и од извршната власт. Како надворешен наблюдувач, како ги оценувате вие состојбите на планот на правдата и имате ли совет како состојбите може да се подобрат?
Judicial and other democratic reform is a marathon, it's not a sprint. These are hard issues, and there have been some positive steps here in this country, as well as a few setbacks. I think it's important to keep in mind that the challenges that this country faces, from weak institutions and erosion in public confidence, as well as a belief that the law is not always applied fairly, these are challenges that were created over a long period of time, and they are going to be difficult to solve. It's going to take time, it's going to take dedication, it's going to take commitment to working on these problems. But that doesn't mean it can't be done or that it can't be done at a faster pace. And the United States has been a partner in efforts to try to help solve some of these problems, and we have real reason for hope. My advice would be, I wish you could come with me on one of the visits I've made to the law schools here in the country. Our embassy set up legal clinics at UKIM here in Skopje, as well as SEEU in Tetovo. And I had a chance there to see this country's young, bright law students in action, and they're terrific. And it's not just the law students. As I've gone around the country, I've realized that the youth here are this country's greatest hope. They are motivated, they are talented, and they are invested in the future. I think if this country invests in the youth, that's the best bet for this country's future, and it's one worth making.
Но не мислите дека реалноста ги обесхрабрува?
I think the young people are looking for solutions and not more problems, and they are willing to fight and to look for opportunities. They want to see those opportunities, and they want to see those opportunities reflected in the debates that they hear on news programs like yours and another forum. I don't think that they're discouraged, but they don't like what they see. I don't think the young people here are ready to accept failure, and for that reason, we're eager to stand behind them and to support them in this effort.
Во тој контекст знаете дека законот за јавно обвинителство беше донесен без поддршка на главната опозицијска партија, ВМРО ДПМНЕ, која критикува особено една одредба од тој донесен закон, која вели дека нелегално прислушувани разговори не можат да бидат докази на суд, туку само индиции за евентуално отворена истрага во даден случај, што според нив води кон амнестија на актуелната структура на власт. Што мислите вие за квалитетот на донесениот закон и за начинот на кој што беше донесен?
We think the PPO law was an important step forward, and we welcomed that Parliament took action to pass it. We had said and emphasized at every opportunity in the run-up to the vote in Parliament that the country needs a new PPO law that advances the goals of rule of law, transparency, accountability, and good governance. And by passing the PPO law, it sent an important signal to the EU, but most importantly to the citizens of the country, that there are mechanisms to ensure that those who abuse positions of influence or authority will be held to account no matter who they are. And so it was an important step forward.
Мислите дека тоа го обезбедува овој закон?
That's ultimately a question for the legal and constitutional experts and the citizens of this country. What I will say and reiterate is that for the United States, as well as for others in Europe, it was an important signal that the country is committed to the rule of law and that the country is committed to taking decisions necessary to implement that rule of law through its legislation.
Земјата е пред парламентарни избори, предвремени, ќе се одржат на 12 април, ако се оди како што е предвидено. Ако ги имате предвид на дворешно-политичките приоритети на вашата држава, што се вашите очекувања од овие избори во Северна Македонија?
We want to see elections that are transparent and peaceful, that are conducted fairly and openly. We also hope to see a public discourse and a campaign discourse that is civil in tone and that addresses the issues that most matter to citizens. And we hope that voters will go to the polls with a very positive vision for the best future that their country can have. We also hope and expect that there will be a smooth formation of a government after April 12th that is continued to commit to implementing the reforms that are necessary for the country's Euro-Atlantic integration and to responding again to the issues that the citizens have stated are most important to them.
Интересна фраза, повторно искористивте. Таа фраза беше употребена на социјалните мрежи после вашето интервју за Сител, кога велите дека очекувате мазно формирање, сега велите на влада, тогаш рековте на нова влада по изборите. Може би можете да коментирате тој дел од изјавата, на што мислите?
I mean, I think it's very simple. There are elections being held in this country, and the purpose of elections is to elect a government. So when I say that we are expecting a smooth transition to a government, that means that we're expecting that the democratic process will continue to be moved forward in a democratic and smooth and peaceful way. I don't think anything else is intended by my comment, and I would hope that nobody would make the effort to try to misinterpret that. This is a very clear situation. It's this country that has called for elections. It's this country that's holding elections. And it's this country that will move forward.
Добро, ќе видиме сега како ќе се интерпретира и дали може да се интерпретира поинаку овој ваш одговор.
I certainly hope not.
Ви благодарам многу што бевте дел од 360 степени.
Thank you very much for having me. This is a great time for this country, and we're really looking forward to some more positive developments.